Blast from the Past. Today we are on Water Street in Henderson, Nevada. This is St. Patrick's Day. Everybody's wearing green. Let's take a look at the Woody. There is a drugstore today, and it seems like there's an ice cream guy too. Let's take a look. Hey everyone, this is Blast from the Past. We have Eric and this beautiful custom 1935 Woody. Would you tell us about your car?
Yes, it's a station wagon, and years ago, people from the east would come out west, and they would call up the ranches and say, please send your wagon to the station to pick up my family so I can go to the Dude Ranch. And that's where station wagon came from, okay?
Wow.
And in those days, they were all four-door vehicles. However, I changed it and made it into two doors with suicide doors. I also lowered the top and the windshield for just a different look.
This is definitely different. Let's talk about the interior then. Was this how you found it?
No, these were what they call T seats. And what I wanted was a matching pair so that the fronts and the rears all matched. And there is an ostrich skin inside, but no animals were used in the restoration of this vehicle. It's all fake material. And it's running a 454 big block with an automatic transmission. It has brought me great joy and an opportunity to meet people like you.
Where did you find this originally?
Originally, it was for sale from a gentleman in Indiana who bought it and started to work on it, ran out of money, and his wife said, get rid of it. So I bought it as a situation where I was going to be able to put my personality into it and work with it. All the wood on it is maple. Some of it is straight maple. Some of it is what they call curly maple. Some of it is bird's eye maple. So I'm a maple guy. And I like maple syrup.
And he's sweet. So the color of this car itself, this is the color that you chose, and this is how you restored it?
Correct. I believe that the color of an automobile, a truck, a classic car is a critical situation. If the color doesn't match with the lines, it loses its pizzazz and people move on. May I show you something? Step back.
Woo! Did you hear that?
What else can I tell you?
It's so fun.
It has brought me great joy, like I've told you. People love it. My problem is they need to touch it. So we sometimes have issues with people that need to touch it to find out, is it real wood? What is it really? But you have to take the good with the bad, and this is my hobby. This is why I came to Las Vegas, because of the great weather here and the great people with cameras and microphones, and I'm having a great time.
Woo-hoo. So tell us about this roof line. It's different from what I've seen before.
Right, the roof lines back in those days were literally square, but it wasn't as attractive as some of the rest of the curves on this vehicle. And if you look at the fenders and the front headlights, the curves weren't working. And so we designed this to create a windshield that would allow us to see out, but would also create an opportunity to deflect the sunlight. And it's a cloth top with a hard foam behind it, and it's what people like.
Is this something that opens up, or
No,
this is how it stays?
No, this is not open. It just collects a lot of dust.
Oops.
Oops.
So I've never seen Woody on the street. Unfortunately, I've never seen it before. Do you drive this on a rainy day, or you kind of avoid it?
No, this is a custom hot rod, and I drive it to events like this, or cruise nights, or charity events, and so on. And I also like to exercise it early on Sunday mornings before the church people come racing to church. It gives me an opportunity to exercise it so that it won't leak oil and I won't have problems with it.
So what's the best compliment that you ever got on the street?
People like it and they can't believe that someone that looks like me could make something like this. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
See you at church.
Hi everybody, we have a Steve right here and this really cute ice cream truck behind us. Would you tell us about your car?
This is a reproduction of the Good Humor truck. This is a 1952 Chevy half-ton pickup. It's been a 3-year restoration. I started on a retirement when I retired and kept at it until I finished it. And it's a working truck. It's like the old vintage truck you would see back then. It's been a labor of love. The truck is very functional, keeps the ice cream cold, minus 10 degrees for 13 hours. And so I have plenty of time to sell the ice cream. The truck is actually coat plate technology, which has been around since like 1929. And so the technology has always been there, better than dry ice actually. And it keeps the ice cream nice and cold. I carry all the Good Humor products and people appreciate that. They love it. Brings back memories. So the truck is very functional. It's got a little 2.6-cylinder 235 with a 4-speed manual transmission. Basically it's all stock and runs and drives really good. Handles the road really well, going 45 miles an hour. But that's fast as you want to go in these open cabs anyway. But it's got the bells, which I'll show you in a second here.
Let's put, yeah.
So,
So I didn't grow up in the era this ice cream truck was running on the street.
Right.
So I assume this outfit even is matching the generation too.
oh yeah, and this is what the Good Humor man would come around in his attire. He would actually have the bow tie and his name badge representing his name and the company, and wearing a white outfit. I don't know how they kept him clean, but they went around with their shiny shoes and white outfit, and they were very noticeable. You could see them anywhere. They would pop out, and they were very, I would say they had a very courteous, good demeanor about them. They were really good people. They were very professional about their business. They really loved what they were doing. So if you met them in my time period, you would appreciate it. You would really appreciate it.
So what's the reaction from the kids these days?
They don't know what to make of it until they find out there's ice cream in it. Then they're excited. So it's when the older generation appreciate it, but I think the kids appreciate it more because of what it stands for. They see the guy, he actually has to get out of the truck to get you your ice cream. So that makes really a treat there. And you get to see the guy and his uniform and go through the motions of getting the ice cream out of the box, you know, and handing them to the kid. It was a pleasure, and it was a treat to see that in action. And I think the kids today are missing out on a lot of that. And hopefully that would come back in some way or form. And that's what I enjoy about here in town, being the Good Humor man.
Well, let me check then do the quality control of all the ice cream that you carry. Can we check the cooler in the back? Steve, show me what you got in the cooler.
Sure. Good Humor? Minus 10 degrees for 13 hours.
Lovely. I heard it's It was 20 cents back then. How it's doing these days?
About $2.
Ooh, nice. Still.
That way, I carry my coin thing, but I don't make any change. Everything's $2. So
So back then, I heard that there was a little good humor thing in ice cream. Is it still going on?
no, but back then, Good Humor had a little thing going on with the kids. They offered a free ice cream on a stick. That actually, when you ate it, it would say you got a free one. So the kids, like me, got caught into it, would eat the ice cream quickly, and look for that little words on the stick saying free ice cream. Half the time it wasn't there.
I noticed the license plate. Yours said T17. What does that mean?
Actually, that was just a fluke. I've had that for about 30 years, and those are special plates that came out that year, and I just kept them. And I love the blue plate. They don't make those blue plates anymore, and that was kind of a thing for me. I do have the toppers. I got on eBay, the old Mr. Softy, and which I thought was kind of whimsical about having that kind of a thing on the license plate there. So I really enjoyed that. And but the blue plate was just basically a personal thing I kept. The numbers were just random. So.
All right, Steven and I gonna go some more ice cream. Let's go! Ice cream! Anyone ice cream? Hi everyone, this is Blast from the Past. That we have Cliff and this beautiful drugstore, and I've never seen anything like this, and I heard this goes really, really far and it gets really loud. Tell us about your car.
Actually, it's a 94 chassis craft chassis. We race a quarter mile NHRA. Our best time right now was at Sonoma Raceway. We ran 7 flat in a quarter mile, 200 miles an hour. We've run sub 60-foot times. The first 60 feet we cover in less than a second. The car has been updated. It's powered by a 355 small block Chevy, which produces about 1,200 horsepower on nitromethane fuel. And it has 2-speed power glide, and it's basically got a Ford 9-inch Pontiac rear end in it. It actually has a 437 gearing in it also. The car will pull about 2.5 G's on your body at launch, and will continue until you get to the end of the track, which is really the rough part of the ride, because the rough part of the ride is when the parachute comes out. When the braking chute comes out, you kind of don't know when it's going to pop, but when it does, you've got 2.5 G's pushing you the other way. So you're dependent on your crew to have you strapped into that car, because if not, you will come out of it.
I am speechless. So that makes sense to have this car seat is really declined, not so much to the ground, but it's quite close to the ground, not just a distance from the ground, but it's really lean towards the back. That's the whole reason why?
Yes, what we do is we got what they call ground effects, and we found out, Ford found out in the wind tunnels, that if you take the air out from underneath the vehicle, it will go faster. Back in the old days, the nostalgia days, if you looked at a lot of gassers and everything, they were lifted way up in the air. We had no wind tunnels back then, and we didn't know anything about ground effects. It was all trial and error, but because of the trial and error of those days, we have what we have now. We have the technology that we're playing with now, which is surpassed just about anything. We also got to thank NHRA for the safety equipment. The safety equipment on this car is second to none. I actually feel safer in this car at 200 miles an hour than I feel out on the freeway driving at 65. For a simple reason, when I race, there's only one guy in the other lane, and I know he knows what he's doing.
So what attracted you to drive this type of car?
You have to be licensed above a certain category, a certain speed, certain time. There's several ways to license in a car. You can make runs in your own car. And any driver that is in the class that you are certifying for can sign off on your license. So you could do it that way and take your time at the track, or there are several driving schools out there, which is like a 2-day course, and you drive their cars. And they'll put you through the paces, and they will not move you up until they know you know what you're doing. But it's fun, but at the end of the day, you're fatigued, you're tired. It turns into a long day, but that's the fastest way to license. Also, the cars have to be certified. Every couple of years, they have to go in for tech, and basically what they'll do is they'll check the chassis to make sure there's no corrosion or any problems with the welds or anything, primarily in the roll cage and the capsule assembly, because that's where your safety's at. That's what's going to save your life in the event of a mishap.
On a regular racing on the track, I know there is a helmet and racing shoes and gloves that's required. How about in this case?
Yes, you're required to run fire suits, and they're usually, depending on the category, 3 to 5 layer Nomex fire retardant. You're also required to wear a neck collar for brace. Your helmet must all meet Snell and SEMA standards. Pretty much safety equipment. Your safety belts have to be updated every 3 years. So, yeah, you got to kind of thank NHRA for the safety that we have, because sometimes we do have a mishap out there, and a lot of guys come out of there and they're fine. So, and again, we got to thank them for that. But I'm very confident in that car. The car has gotten loose a couple times on me. It is corrected very easily by just taking your foot off. It snaps back a little violent, but it will retain going straight again. So the cars, even though at that speed, they are safe. The difference between this and, like, say, your regular car is your steering commands. Steering commands on a long car are very minute. So you're not actually taking the wheel and trying to straighten things out. It's very gentle. It's all small, gentle movements. The car reacts. One thing that we did find out, that the longer the wheelbase, the longer the car, the better it will handle its speed.
So I heard I am not dressed appropriate to be
Yeah.
in this car, and so how do you get on? How do you get out?
Actually, when I go to get in, I step in on the seat. The steering wheel removes. Once I slide in, the steering wheel goes back. I do not put my belts on. My crew puts my belts on. They strap me in to make sure everything is tight, and I become actually part of that car. So, but then you go through you basically go through your startup procedures and everything, your warm-ups, and then you get to the thing that everybody likes, is the crowd-pleasing burnout. And then we get in there, we spin the tires and get the actual tread on the tires hot and sticky. And it's actually like a cleaning. But again, this is where your crew comes in handy, because when you go to back up, they guide you. There's a person behind you, in front of you, that guide you to make sure your tires roll over those same marks, because you don't want to leave on somebody else's marks, because what will happen, the car will pitch one way or the other. So you have to line up on your own tracks. And then once you catch your lights, you never leave on the green. A lot of people look at that. That's a misconception. You leave on the yellow. So when the yellow light comes on, you go.
All right. So tell us about those two. What do they do?
You got the front of the cowl. You got a center tachometer. You've also got an oil pressure warning light. In case we drop oil pressure in the engine, we can immediately shut down. The one on the right is actually a shift light, because even though we run like a 2-speed power glide, which is technically an automatic transmission, there's no longer automatic parts in it in order for racing. So the ignition system actually sends a signal to the shifter. It tells the shifter to upshift at 6,800 RPM. However, if that light comes on and stays on, that tells you you've got a relay failure, so you have to reach down and physically upshift it up the car. And this car out the gate that tachometer's reading about 72 to 7,400 RPM.
So most of this motor part is exposed. What am I looking at here?
Looking at the main intake right here, through the induction system, the manifold to the basic part of the engine, and then this is where all the work is done. To the exhaust, powered back right to the glide. There's a shaft back here which basically going back to drive the wheels. Very simple engine. It's a very simple combination. It's a very common one. There's a lot of them out there. And for right now, it's the most popular. We've had a lot of success with it, and we're going to keep it.
I just cannot wait to see this in action. When's the next time you're going to bring this to the racetrack?
We got to wait and see. I got to check the schedule, but hopefully we'll be able to fire it up here right now. Here, just hopefully we can get it to idle.
Like, I feel the power, definitely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, take care. Thanks for stopping by.
We have Troy and this beautiful, beautiful car. I think this is quite old. What's the year and the make of this car?
It's a 1934 three-window coupe.
So, was this original? Did you restore it? What's the story behind this?
I've built this car from scratch. It took about 2.5 years. It's got a 434 Plymouth motor in there with a 700 tranny in there. All the interior is custom done. Gauges are custom done. It's got a digital dash in there, solenoid doors, solenoid trunk. Everything's powered, AC, and heat in here.
Wow. So why did you pick red for this car?
I've never had a red car, but I wanted this red. I was looking for a red that stands out. So I found the 1986 Porsche red. So I ended up painting it this color.
So that's something specific and it means something to you?
Yeah, well, you got to find the right red that stands out. There's a lot of reds that are like orangey red or like a burgundy red. So I had to find the right red like a fire engine red.
Okay, so I'm still learning about these cars and tell me what's right here and what I'm looking.
All right, this is a 434 Plymouth motor, okay. It's got everything on here is chrome, okay? It's got your AC here. Usually a lot of guys don't carry AC. It's got heat in here. All the wires are tucked in, hidden behind the wall, firewall. So everything is run underneath, so you don't see anything, exposed. So it looks very clean. What else? It's all lit up on the inside compartment at night. In the interior, got solenoid doors, so they pop open from either side.
Wow.
Digital dash,
Yes, I'm
speed.
looking at it. Uh-huh.
all leather inside, even the headliner.
Woo!
The trunk's even leather also.
Wow, it's so beautiful. I can't believe this is from 1934. Wow. So if I saw this when it was just came out from the dealership, what was it different?
It was probably steel. This is a fiberglass body because it's hard to find. If you find a steel body today, it'll probably cost you up about $80,000-$90,000 just for the car itself, but it's not going to look as nice as this. And it's hard to find parts, on an old car that old. So they have companies out now that remake parts. Usually you have Chevy with Ford or Ford with Chevy. They make adapters and stuff for them, so you could fit it all in.
So this wheel,
Those are Boyd Connington wheels. So they're hard to find. They're expensive.
looking good. Anything else that I should know about this car?
It's power trunk. All the batteries hidden in the trunk. All the electrical's hidden in the trunk. So everything's clean, nicely done. The trunk's leather.
This is so cute.
It sits nice. It rides sweet. If you want to ride with, car very silent going down your street, it's got electric cutouts on here, so you can dim it so the car's quiet. And if you want to open up the headers, there's a switch there, so you can make the car as loud as any car on the drag strip.
Sounds like you know so much about these cars. And did you build this car by any chance?
I got it halfway built, and I added my own touches to it, and I had to paint it. So it took me about a year and a half to complete it.
So where do you work this? Do you have a special garage that's dedicated for those?
Well, I have a grand opening at my shop right now. It's in Henderson over by Sunset Park. It's on Harrison Drive, April 2nd, after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and anybody's welcome to come.
Ooh. So you're going to bring this car over there?
Of course, you can bring your hot rods. We're going to have food, beverages, and stuff like that, and just everybody hanging out like we are now.
Let's have some fun then. Yeah, anyone who wants to see this car in person, just come join him at his shop.
Well, I should have 5 more other cars there, so besides this one. So you're welcome to come down.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Troy.
No problem.